How the Golden State Warriors completed a 20-point comeback against the New Orleans Pelicans. As you all know, Pelicans and Warriors faced off just recently, and the Warriors were able to get the better of the stick because they came back from 20 points down and beat the New Orleans Pelicans 109 to 120. In today's video, we're going to be going through 5 key reasons why the Warriors were able to pull this off, and we're also going to be going through how this is going to help them in the playoffs and also win another NBA championship. So make sure to like this video, and guys, 92% of you are still not subscribed to the channel, so it'd mean the world if you could subscribe to the channel, hitting that red button down below. So the first is that Steph Curry played at an MVP level. As you all know, Stephen Curry was the main man as usual for this Golden State Warriors team because he put up 39 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, and also 3 steals, while also shooting 8 from 15 from the 3. So there's a lot to unpack just in that stat line, but first, 39 points was honestly insane for someone like Stephen Curry. He has honestly just come back from injury, only a couple of games in, and he's really pulling 40-point bombs just like that. So he's honestly done a fantastic job, and on top of this, he also shot 8 from 15 from the 3, so he was above 50% when it came to shooting from the 3, guys. I don't know any other player that can shoot 15 threes and make more than half of them. I'm telling you that right now. The only other person that probably could do that is his teammate Klay Thompson. But on top of this, he almost did get a double-double with 8 rebounds and 8 assists. Now, this may surprise a lot of people, but Steph is actually the 3rd leading rebounder in this Golden State Warriors team. It actually goes Kevon Looney, then Draymond Green, and then Steph Curry at 3rd. But Steph and Draymond are actually very close at tying for 2nd when it comes to rebounds, so it's great to see there. But his playmaking when it comes to Curry has honestly been fantastic. He knows that there is a lot of attention on him being such a superstar and especially such a big threat on the 3. However, he does a fantastic job at being able to play make and find his open teammates. He also had a lot of good playmaking plays early on, not only in the game, but also late in the game when they needed it the most. So he did a fantastic job using his IQ and passing when it was needed. On top of this, something that may have surprised a lot of people was the 3 steals, and that honestly surprised me. If you did watch the game, Steph Curry got a lot of steals. He was actually the leading man in steals when it came to this game as well. DiVincenzo had 1, Klay Thompson had 2, Draymond had 2, and then we had Steph at 3. So he did a fantastic job. His defense was impeccable, and I think he did a fantastic job, as a lot of people do say that he isn't a great defender, but Steph Curry proved a lot of those haters wrong because he was doing everything out there, from offense, dropping 39 points, to defense, getting rebounds, getting steals, and even just causing a lot of havoc to the person he was guarding. The second reason is Jordan Poole came in the clutch. Now, as you all know, Jordan Poole did come off the bench as Dante DiVincenzo has made his way into the starting 5, but that doesn't change anything because Jordan Poole had one of the biggest impact plays throughout the whole game, and I think he's done a fantastic job at really cementing his role as the 6th man for this team, but also that impact player. If we look at Jordan Poole, he had 21 points in this game. He actually was the 2nd leading scorer in this team, even though he was coming off the bench. And to put this even into perspective, guys, he did only get 29 minutes. You had Klay, who had 34 minutes, Draymond, who had 33, Jonathan Kuminga had 31. So there were a lot of people that got a lot more minutes, and Jordan Poole still scored significantly more than them. Now, I'm not taking away from the other players, but Jordan Poole did a fantastic job because he also got 5 rebounds and 2 assists, and you also saw when he was out there the amount of difference he was causing, both on offense, both on defense, and he could do really a great job at staying in front of his defender, which a lot of people criticize him about. People say Jordan Poole isn't a great defender, but I think he did a fantastic job, especially when it came to the comeback, and a lot of his big shots did come at a great time, which was near the end of the game when it was neck and neck. So I think he did a fantastic job. Now, if we look at his actual field goal percentages, he shot 8 from 15, which was good. He only shot 2 from 6 from the 3, which was a little bit on the lower side. However, he did make up from it and start to drive in. I think that's what's great about Jordan Poole's game. He's able to adjust. He's not just a spot up 3-point shooter. Yes, he's got the 3 ball, but he can drive it in. He can hit it with the mid-range, and he can also play make if he needs to. And I think that's what really makes him so good and also such a great fit for this Golden State Warriors roster. And when he's coming off the bench, that is definitely when it does a lot for this team. If we look at the rest of the bench, guys, he actually had 21 points, Jordan Poole, by himself, while the rest of the bench only had 9 points. So this is all the bench combined, and if we also look at all the bench for the New Orleans Pelicans, they also had a total of only 20 points. So Jordan Poole himself was able to be higher than not only just our bench, but also the New Orleans Pelicans bench. So he did a fantastic job, and that's basically what they need from Jordan Poole all the time. They need that scoring off the bench when Steph and when Klay is off. So I think he did his job right. he may not be the lockdown defender, and that's why you got players such as, Gary Payton II, Kevon Looney, who came off the bench today, Moses Moody. You got all these 3-and-D guys. Jordan Poole's job is to score, and that's what he did best. And I think that's something you can definitely be sure about, that it will be needed when it comes playoff and also championship time. The third reason is that Draymond Green had a very efficient game. Now, if we look at Draymond Green, as always, I always love to say this, but he is the most underrated player in this team because he provided a lot that not many people know about. Now, he did have only 8 points. However, he shot 4 from 5 from the field, so he's pretty much almost perfect, shot 80% from the field. He also had 2 steals, 13 assists, and also 6 rebounds, and I think he did a fantastic job, almost a near triple-double, but also did it while also shooting a very high percentage. And I think this is fantastic to see because Draymond Green did a fantastic job against Jonas Valanciunas. Now, Valanciunas did have a couple of points. He did have 11. However, I think he did a great job due to the fact that there is a huge height difference between Draymond Green and Jonas Valanciunas. Jonas is around 6'11", 7 foot pretty much, while Draymond Green still only stands at 6'6", and some people say he's 6'7" with shoes on. So either way, Draymond did a fantastic job because the big difference when it comes to height, and he did a great job at being able to defend that and keep him under 15 to 20 points. Now, I do think Draymond Green has definitely gone very under the radar when it comes to his playmaking. He provided a lot of assists, not only just in general, but also to Steph Curry to get him going, especially when it came off pick and roll situations. If you saw the plays that they were running a quick pick and roll. Steph Curry would then pass it off to Draymond Green, and Draymond would look to pass it back to Steph Curry for a spot up 3 after Steph Curry does a little fancy moves here and there. So it's kind of hard to explain just in words. Steph Curry does what Steph Curry does, but I think it was honestly great because it did cause a lot of difference in the game, especially closing out the game, especially in moments when Draymond Green was needed the most. But his playmaking never goes unmatched. Even though he did only get 13 assists, a lot of his passings did end up with other players getting assists as well. So I call that the pass to assist, and I do think he did a fantastic job at really setting up the offense and also controlling the defense. We all know he's a defensive anchor in this team. He leads this team in all different ways, and especially on the defensive side. And like I've always mentioned before, Draymond always gets underrated or unexposed to these things. So I think Green did a great job, and I think if this continues to happen, especially when it comes into playoff time, this is definitely something we would like to see from Draymond. He may not need to score 20, 30, 40 points, but if he can give you, 10 points here, 10 assists here, and also a couple of rebounds here and there, I think that is definitely needed, and that is what is needed from someone like Draymond. He's doing it at a high efficiency, and he's doing it with only 33 minutes of play, which I think is great. And the fact that he was able to also get 2 steals on top of all this, I think is fantastic, especially for a power forward such as Draymond Green. The fourth reason is that the Golden State Warriors as a team did significantly better than the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, what I mean by this is if we look at the team stats, you see a huge discrepancy between Golden State Warriors and New Orleans Pelicans. Now, there are a couple of things that match up. They actually got the same amount of rebounds at 41. They also got pretty much the same amount of assists at 32 for Golden State Warriors, and New Orleans Pelicans had 30. But we have steals. Golden State Warriors had 11 steals, while New Orleans Pelicans only had 6. So that's definitely a huge discrepancy. That is honestly, guys, 5 extra steals, which is also equivalent to 10 extra points. And that also equivalates to about the amount, that difference that was between the score of 109 to 120. So you definitely see how even 5 steals definitely adds up at the end of the day. And I do think that is something that really went under the radar. Now, if we also look at their 3-point shots and also their field goal attempts, we see that the Golden State Warriors were actually able to hit 18 threes, while New Orleans Pelicans were only able to hit 12. And like they say, guys, threes are better than twos. And of course, you're not going to get beaten by Golden State Warriors without a couple of threes in their bag. So I honestly do think Warriors did a fantastic job on the 3-point line because they actually shot 45%. Also, New Orleans Pelicans shot 44%, which is really good to see. However, Golden State Warriors did take a lot more. If we look at the amount of attempts, Pelicans only took 27 threes, while the Golden State Warriors took 40 threes. Yes, that is honestly insane when you think about it in today's NBA, guys. 40 threes is a lot, but the fact that they still did shoot it at a very high percentage is what really made the difference between the Golden State Warriors and the New Orleans Pelicans, and what also helped them get from this comeback. Now, if we look at other stats such as their field goal percentage, they also did significantly better. Their field goal percentage for the Warriors was 52.4%, while the New Orleans Pelicans only had 46.7%. So there was definitely a huge discrepancy there. When it came to Brandon Ingram and also CJ McCollum, they had some pretty good shooting nights, nothing spectacular like Steph Curry. Brandon Ingram went 9 from 22, which is not bad, and also CJ McCollum went 6 from 17. However, if we look at some players from the Golden State Warriors, you have Steph Curry, who went 8 from 15 from the 3, which is probably the most important stat for someone like Curry. You also had Klay Thompson, who went 5 from 11 from 3 as well, which was insane. And then you also have others such as Draymond Green, which we talked about, who went 4 from 5. Kuminga actually went perfect, scoring 5 from 5 from the field, and also made 1 from 1 from the 3 as well. So there's a lot of different factors that really do take into account, and efficiency definitely wins at the end of the day. The fifth reason is that Steve Kerr did a fantastic job at rotating this team. Now, as you all know, there are a couple of times where I have questioned Steve Kerr when it comes to running small ball, when it comes to also different rotations, but he did a fantastic job tonight. Yes, he did run small ball with Kevon Looney coming off the bench, even though they have someone like Jonas Valanciunas, but Kuminga did a fantastic job, and also in the closing minutes, they actually took DiVincenzo off and put Jordan Poole on to finish the game for a little bit more offense, and I think that was honestly fantastic. DiVincenzo did start the game, but he did only get 23 minutes in this matchup, while Jordan Poole came off the bench and actually had 29 minutes. Now, I'm not trying to say DiVincenzo is better than Poole or Poole's better than DiVincenzo, but I do think it was a smart move because Jordan Poole was feeling it a little bit. They did need that little bit extra of offense, and I think it definitely got the job done. And what I love most about it is that DiVincenzo wasn't salty. He did his role, and if he was only going to get 23 minutes, he's still supporting from the sideline, and that's what I love from this Golden State Warriors team. They all support each other, and at the end of the day, all they want to do is win games, and winning this style of play will definitely get them far, not only in the playoffs but in the NBA championship.